Continuing my series of album art critique, I will be doing one of the most important bands in metal in terms of music and in terms of album art. The band is Iron Maiden. This was the winner of my community poll, and they got lots of great album covers and they have a few duds. This will just be studio albums, but I'm sure one day I can probably do a video on just their live albums as well. They have many of those. These will not be ranked. They will be in chronological order, but this time I will be giving each a score out of 10. So with that being said, let me get right into it. First cover is the self-titled debut album released in 1980. I like this one a lot. Eddie in the middle kind of looks like a punk rock teenager in this one. I like the use of the lighting. I like how you see the lighting come from both the moonlight and the street light. The logo is perfect. It pops right out at you. You can see it clearly. My only complaint is there's too much yellow used on Eddie and the wall behind him. I would have used a different color for the wall and maybe given him a different color shirt, but overall, it's a very good cover. My score, 8 out of 10. Next is Killers from 1981, and this is an iconic album cover. This one has one of the best uses of lighting out of any of the covers. The scene evokes like fear and anguish. It evokes mystery as you can see the hands pulling down on Eddie's shirt and making you wonder, like, is this a guy he just killed or like something else? The logo is perfect with the red and white font and the dark background. If I were to make any changes, I would maybe lighten the color of the album title where it says Killers, maybe make it pop out a little more, but otherwise that's just a minor nitpick. It's a near perfect album cover. My score, 9.5 out of 10. Next is Number of the Beast from 1982. This is another iconic album cover. I like the use of perspective with Eddie looking over the devil as if he's using him as a marionette. The logo stands out very well. My observation with this cover is that the devil looks kind of cartoonish, almost like a Spider-Man villain or something out of a comic book. But I also think this was the intention of the band, as they wanted it to be kind of like a joke after they were labeled as a satanic band by the press. So I think if this was another band like Venom or a darker band, like they maybe like would have made a more like menacing devil. But I think for this band and this album, I think it's appropriate. I think it worked very well. If I would change anything, I would maybe like make the album title a little brighter, but overall it's a classic. My score, 9 out of 10. Next is Peace of Mind from 1983, and I like the concept of this very well. It's kind of mysterious, it's kind of scary. My complaint is that it's just too yellow. I think the artist could have used a few more colors in the composition, kind of adding a little more variety. Maybe he could have made the padded walls a different color. That might have, maybe it worked better, but as far as lighting, it works very well. A nice use of shadow, and that really adds like to the mystery of it. The band and the album title look very good. They can be seen very easily. Overall, a good cover, just lacking some more variety, some more color. But my score is 7 out of 10. Next is my favorite album cover out of all of them. This is one of the first albums I ever bought, like just for the cover alone, without ever hearing any of the music. It's very epic. They use warm colors, so you look at this album cover and you just think of like a hot day, going on vacation. If you've ever visited like ancient ruins, you really know how like hot it gets like when you go to these places. Kind of gives you the feeling of looking at something like so majestic that you just look up and like stare at it in awe. It just has the perfect color combination. The lighting works well, the color tones match very well. My score, 10 out of 10. Next is Somewhere in Time, released in 1986. This one is very detailed and complex. It's filled with Easter eggs, features a wraparound cover. The kind of cover you can like look at closely and just look for all the hidden details. So for that reason, it works very well. I have a few minor nitpicks with the cover though. The title and logo are kind of small, so not very easy to see. Eddie kind of blends in with the background a little, so the artist could have maybe found a way to make him pop out a little more. But those are just little minor things. It's an awesome cover, 9 out of 10. Next is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. This one's very simple but very effective. I like how they place Eddie in the center holding, it looks like a beating heart, but it also looks like there's some kind of like creature in the middle. So the image does a really good job of creating mystery and curiosity. The album cover is very cold and icy. The logo pops out very well. I like the use of dark blue and the yellow border. That works really perfectly on a blue background. If I had to nitpick a little bit, I think those skylights are kind of confusing. Like, I don't know if they're ceiling lights or they're like UFOs. It's kind of hard to figure out what they are, but other than that, a great album cover. My score, 9 out of 10. Next is No Prayer for the Dying from 1990, and this is a case of a great album cover on a not so great album. I like the lighting because all the lighting comes from the lantern that's being held in the man's hand. It shines right on Eddie. It's a very menacing, very scary. The red font works very well on the blue background. The color composition works very well. If I have to nitpick, the album title is maybe a little small. Kind of hard to read, but otherwise a great album cover. My score, 9 out of 10. Next is Fear of the Dark from 1992, and this one's very good. It's the only album cover with the logo on the side. It's very dark. It's scary. They use a lot of shadow. All the lightning comes from the moon right behind the tree. It creates a lot of color contrast. They don't use a lot of color, but it's just enough color to make it work. It's blue, yellow, black, but it's very effective, very scary, very haunting. My score, 9 out of 10. Next is The X Factor from 1995, and this is maybe like one of my least favorites. The problem I have with this, it just looks very plastic. They have Eddie in a torture chamber, but it kind of looks like a toy or a collectible figure, and they took a photo of it. I mean, that's what I get from it. And the logo up top, it just gets completely lost. It's very gray. It's very dark. The lighting's not very good at all. And I know they have an alternate cover, but I decided not to mention that. I just talk about this one. It's okay, but not great. My score is 6 out of 10. Next is Virtual 11, released in 1998, and it's an album people don't like very much, but I think the cover concept is very good, but I would probably make a few changes. I think the kid with like the VR headset is okay, but I think it's like off to the corner too much, so I would put him more in the middle. Like if you ever saw the cover of that movie poster, Ready Player One, something like that, and then up top I'd have Eddie with a red background like coming up like this, and then the yellow logo up top, and then the blue landscape along the bottom end. That would really make a better album cover in my opinion. It's okay, not bad. My score, 7 out of 10. Next is Brave New World from the year 2000. This is an interesting concept because the top half of the painting is traditional artwork and the bottom half is digital artwork. I think this one is very good. It works very well. They take one color concept and they go with it. I like the blue composition. It works very well. The city at the bottom is very intricate. It appears to be London in the future, and the sky above is very dark and menacing. I like how they have like the light source coming from the back, and it goes right through the middle of the artwork, and then actually divides two pieces of art. The logo looks very good. It's simple but effective. This one's very decent. Not great, but my score is an 8 out of 10. Next is Dance of Death from 2003, and this album cover has lots of problems. The main problem is that they used an unfinished version of the album cover, and for that reason the artist didn't even want it to be credited for it. The album cover looks dated. It looks like outdated CGI, kind of like a PlayStation 1 version of the movie Eyes Wide Shut. I think if they continued to work on it, they could have made a decent album cover, but the concept is interesting. The color composition is good. The problem is just not finished, and for that reason, only a 5 out of 10. Next is A Matter of Life and Death from 2006, and I like this one a lot. I think this could have been used as like a movie poster. It accurately depicts the tone and lyrical content of the album. The white logo and title work very well in the dark background. The use of explosions and fires in the background creates a nice contrast with a primarily green and brown album cover. It's just very good. An album cover where you don't really see Eddie. He's kind of hidden. His image is painted on the front of the tank. Overall, very good. 8 out of 10. Next is The Final Frontier from 2010, and it's very good. It's a science fiction themed album cover. Kind of reminds me of old science fiction movies of the 60s. Mixes elements of horror and sci-fi. Color composition is very good. I think the red logo on the blue background works very well. Those two colors like always contrast very well in art. The green alien creature looks like very big and menacing and very detailed. Very good. Not one of the greats, but it deserves an 8 out of 10. Next is The Book of Souls from 2015, and it's a simple album cover. Black background with the white and black font in the middle. You see Eddie, who I know it's meant to look like he came from ancient times, like reflecting like the Mayans. But the overall theme of the album, it's good. But the first time I saw this, I saw Eddie, and I kind of thought he looks kind of weird. It's kind of like those things on his skull, kind of looks like cornrows. I don't know, it's kind of weird to me, but it's simple. Now, this album does have some artwork in the middle, and I probably think this might have been a better album cover, but again, it's kind of controversial. I don't know, maybe it is, but I probably would have preferred this as an album cover. And the same as for the next album, Senjutsu, which came out in 2021, and it's okay. It's kind of similar to Book of Souls, where it's black. They use the red font and the logo, the album title, so that looks good. Eddie dressed as a samurai in the middle, so it's kind of dark. Also makes him look kind of menacing, and so that's pretty good. Not really much I would change about it, but now this one, they have some album art in the middle. So in the middle of the CD, you can see this image right here, and I think this would have made a better album cover. They could have put a logo up top, made it pop out, put Senjutsu in bright red along the bottom. I mean, that's what I think, but again, like Book of Souls, they're going with the same concept of like the black. So that's that one. And my score, 8 out of 10. So that is all. Thanks for watching. I will be continuing this series. I did put a poll on my community post. I think the one that came in second is Cannibal Corpse, so maybe I'll tackle that one at some point next week or something. That is all. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.